Welcome to this video tutorial from fishzoo.net. Today we're going to show you how to quickly and easily make a very productive walleye fly for catching walleye. First thing I do is I take this number 2 hook. It's a Eagle Claw laser sharp number 066 SSA. It's a long shank stainless steel, and I just bend the camber out of the hook so that it's straight, and when you pull the fly through the water, it will actually swim straight. It won't swim to the side. With that hook twisted, that could possibly be a problem. So first thing we do is we take this gold thread here. I hope you can see that in the camera. Wrap it around there, and we're going to take this gold thread and we're going to wrap the shank of the hook tightly all the way down the shank. Now I do this because walleye have very good vision, and they can probably see the shank of the hook, the stainless hardware. So I do this to cover the hook and give it some color. Cut that off. And next I am going to take some cement and just cement that thread right to the shank so that it doesn't twist or move after the fly is finished. Alright, next take a little chartreuse hackle. There it is. I cut about a 2.5 to 3 inch length of the hackle feathers, and I put them right on the back like so. Again, back over once just to clean it up so you don't have loose fiber hanging out. Again, take your cement and cement those feathers so they don't move. Next, we wind the thread out to the end, and I put some synthetic hair so that it naturally falls to the bottom of the pattern, and I wrap that thusly. And again, take my cement and glue that down. Now it's looking pretty nasty right now, but we'll clean it up as we go. And again, this is not trout fishing, so doesn't have to be as perfect as a trout pattern. Although the better you make it, I think the more productive it will be. The cleaner you make the fly, the more productive it will be. So we have our hackle feathers on the back, and we have our synthetic chartreuse yellow fiber underneath. Now the reason we put that on there is because this fiber will help cover the hook, and it tends not to float, so it allows the pattern to stand in the water this way properly. Alright, next we're going to take a more buoyant hair. That is bucktail. And we're going to take yellow, and we're going to put a tuft of yellow bucktail on the top of this fly. Right like so. And tie that down good and tight. Take your cement, put that on there, and next we are going to take some orange bucktail. We're just going to put that again on top, just like that. Pull these wild hairs out, and it's starting to take shape, isn't it? Now, again, take some cement and put some cement on there to hold it in place. Now, we are going to take more synthetic hair. It's a little stiffer synthetic hair, an olive color, and we're going to cut two sides to that. We're going to cut maybe a dozen strands, 2 inches long. We're going to put that right on the side, like so. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now the fly is starting to come together. Get rid of that orange wild hair there. And we're starting to come together. Now we want to give the fly a little bling. And for that, I'm going to use Crystal Flash. It's like a chartreuse, like a warm chartreuse color. And we're going to just use a very little bit of this. You don't need much. It has a lot of glitter in the water. Just a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to put a little bit on the side there. Give this fly a little bling. And same on the other side. Alright, and now the hair portion of the fly is pretty much complete. I'm going to take and just coat this with cement again. And now for the head, we want to tighten this up a little bit and make an even coating. You can see I'm putting a lot of pressure on the vise to hold this in place. Give this some shape. Now, take your whip finish, and assuming you know how to use one of these, you put the hook on the thread there. You wrap it around the loop, and then you loop it over the eye. Twist over the eye, twist over the eye, twist over the eye, and that's 4. Then you let the thread go, and it holds it tight until you get done, and then you pull the hook out of there. And that's the tying portion of this fly. Now I like to put realistic looking eyes on my walleye fly, and you notice it's a little inconsistent pattern here. Don't worry about that, because when we epoxy this head, that will all sort of blend together in there. So we're going to take and we're going to put one of these eyes on each side, like so. And it's okay to creep into the hair just a little bit, and I'll show you why when we start to add the epoxy. Alright, as you can see, I no longer have the fly in the tying vise. I actually have it in a drying motor, similar to one that is used to put epoxy on fishing rods when you tie the eyes on. Anyway, we're going to start rotating this, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take a cup and mix a 2-part epoxy. Now I use a 30-minute resin, And the reason I use that is because it tends to dry a little clearer. Then I use this holographic embossing powder that you can get at any kind of craft store. Usually has this, and it's got a little bling just like the crystal flash, and I add that right to the epoxy. Just put a shake or two in there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try to hold that in the camera view, but the epoxy is got that little glitter to it now. Alright, now here we go. We just take the epoxy that we've mixed together, and we just gently dab that around the collar of the fly pattern. Careful not to pick up any hair. And move down towards the eye of the hook. Again, the thing you have to be careful of is not to get this epoxy actually in the eye of your hook and end up closing the hook up and having to deal with that. You know, even though you can poke it through, sometimes it makes the inner surface of the hook jagged and will or may cut your line once you tie your tippet on there. Okay, that's it. We're going to let that dry. So this fly, this pattern, is it's eye candy for walleye. They just love this fly. It's very productive. In fact, the same day I made this fly, I took this very pattern out into the Susquehanna River and caught 5 walleye, 4 of which were keepers, in a 2.5-hour period of fishing. So give it a try. It might work as well for you. And thank you for watching this video tutorial from fishzoo.net.